we have our TypeScript-TTime.com hosted zone as well as the registered domain name. And we now want to change the configuration. So we want to change the hosted zone because that is essentially the configuration. By currently manually, we will do it with AWS CDK later. But first of all, let's try to get it running at all. And what it said is, so we did get this error, RR set of type CNAME with DNS name TypeScript-TTime.com is not permitted at Apex in zone TypeScript-TTime.com. That's, if you ask me, that's totally cryptic. But Stack Overflow says, since we talked about Slack, now I call it Slack Overflow. Sometimes you can Slack with Stack Overflow a lot. But they say you essentially aren't allowed to have LNS names alongside CNAMEs. And I was about to find out why. And I was reading this text here. So CNAME essentially says you have a different domain name that you want to route to. A would be this one. A entry would be just IPv4. 4As, like quad A, I think it is called. Sometimes is just a IPv6 that you want to route to, and that we would be able, for example, so A and A, quad A would be for if we have an elastic IP, which we don't have. We have only, I can close that one. We only have this CloudFront domain, which we want to forward to. That's why we use CNAMEs. And then there's NS, which is namespace, which, as far as I understood so far, contains the original of the let's see, NS record DNS. Let's try to understand that again. It stands for name server, yes. Cloudflare. So it indicates which DNS server is authoritative for that domain, i.e., so the single point of truth, essentially. Which server actually contains the DNS record? What I don't understand is, why can we not have CNAME as well as NS? If this gets... Or it's SAO. SAO, I did forget again. What was it, Anki? SAO. That's start of authority record. And it controls the zone transfer, and the zone transfer controls how the databases, or how it's actually synchronized or replicated, the data, the records. So then let's maybe read this some more. Oh, he also has SAO here. Okay. The RFC makes perfect sense, as the name server wouldn't know whether it needs to follow the CNAME or answer with the actual record the CNAME overlaps with. Bar.com is a zone, therefore it implicitly has an SOA record for the bar.com name. You can't have both. So the problem is the SAO record and CNAME with the same name. However, since those are most of the time only used for zone maintenance, so this zone transfer copying, these situation where you want to provide a CNAME at the zone apex is quite common. Apex is probably just because it's bar.com. This is the top level domain, and this is the apex because it's your domain, and everything below that is low level sub level domains. So even though the RFC prohibits it, many engineers would like a behavior. Great. That's why Route 53 provides alias records. Man. So Route 53 is Route 53 specific extension to solve this problem, apparently. They let you route traffic to selected AWS resources such as CloudFront distributions and S3 buckets. That's exactly what we want to do. The problem is we weren't allowed to do that. If I click on alias, now it works. Because it's A. So what do we actually want to do? Maybe the CNAME cannot be used as an... CNAME cannot definitely not be used as an alias. Okay. But we can apparently use A instead. And then we go to CloudFront distribution and we choose our distribution in... Oh, now I want not Virginia. An alias to a CloudFront distribution and an alias to another record in the same hosted zone are global and available only in North Virginia. It could be so easy, but they don't allow us to make it easy. I remember reading something. So I did look at the CDK, AWS CDK, which is the cloud development kits, like similar to Terraform, but specific first of all to AWS, but also you don't have it descriptively, at least not really, but instead you really write in a high level programming language, general purpose programming language. And there's one which essentially sets up everything for you, but I don't want to use it because essentially that would mean we don't understand what actually is happening. So, and this guy says it sets up an A or AAA alias records to the CloudFront distribution, which is exactly what we want to do. But this can only be used in US East, North Virginia. Is it Virginia? Yeah, probably it's Virginia. I'm not super comfortable with the pronunciation. So that means we need to find out how to do that instead in a different zone, huh? So one thing that we could actually just do is we instead deploy to North Virginia, and then everything works. Then we can just say, okay, alias to CloudFront distribution, and then we put in our distribution here. I don't know the name, but that's not possible. in the region that we are in, which is, I think we are actually in Ireland. Yeah, EU West 1. I did configure it to deploy there because it has the most features. And workspaces, for example, which we checked last week, didn't allow us to. So one thing that definitely works is this, right? We do a CNAME, and then we go to this guy, and then we go to that guy, and we say time to live very, very low. Oh, 60. Because we will change it a lot. And then just do it. This may take a moment. And now if we go to www.typescripttime.com, so the DNS needs some time to actually spread out the information. So we might not be able to access it yet. No, the request could not be satisfied. Bad request. We can connect to the server for this app or website at this time. There might be towards traffic or a configuration error. Try again later or contact the app or website owner. Yeah, probably we just have to wait. Probably. Come on. Not being able to have an alias is kind of annoying. Other than that, we can just try to remove the SOA. Start of, what was it? Okay. Start of authority. Record. And then just use the CNAME, I guess. For both TypeScripttime.com as well as www. TPS connection private. Yes. Oh, I think this one, no, it doesn't. We do HTTP, no. We get errors from CloudFront, which is already right? Which means CloudFront already receives the traffic. So we already, I have an idea. We can use dick. CloudFront is configured to receive from your domain. Oh, do we have to do that separately? You might be right. CloudFront. Let me leave that open here. And then we go to CloudFront. Let's go inside here. Alternate domain names. That might be it. CNAME. Add the custom domain names that you use in URLs for the files served by this distribution. Very good point, my friend. Very good point. Because CloudFront is going to expect a host header of some sort, I think. So in that case, we can go here probably. Because I don't want to do that manually, probably. Oops, my bad. So we would add our name here. Do we have something with domain? No, we don't. Why not? Load method, cached methods, cache policy, origin request policy, trusted key groups. No, that's also not it. Viewer protocol policy. You seem to be right. there is this alternate domain name CNAME. Probably if we put something here, we might get what we want. So what I don't understand is how we do that with CDK, because in this case there doesn't seem to be anything for that. It's probably not a cache policy. It's also not allowed methods, which is essentially cause. Cache methods also not. Compress, not relevant. Edge lambdas also not. Function associations with CloudFront functions, essentially lambdas, but in a different place and less powerful. Origin request policies, that might be something, but we don't put it as a... Here we just put it on the distribution. Which I find confusing. Maybe in the default behavior. Origin. Because I'm in the default behavior. Haha. Yeah, you gotta have the correct linter settings to actually see where the brackets end. So we have domain names here, alternative domain names for this distribution. If you want to use your own domain name, such as www.example.com, instead of the cloudfront.net domain name, you can add an alternate domain name for this distribution. If you attach a certificate for to the distribution, you must add at least one of the domain names of the certificate to this list. So only support the default generated name. That's the default. But we want something else. Apparently, this is an array. Yes. And here we can say, so I just hard coded for now. But it's dub, right? Yeah, it's dub, dot, this guy. And now if we redeploy this, it might actually be working. We definitely know CloudFront actually did receive the traffic because CloudFront sent us the error, which means our DNS actually works. It gets redirected to CloudFront, but CloudFront is not ready to receive it in that version. Waiting for a second here. In the meantime, yeah, so you have some experience apparently with AWS, just in your free time, or actually like on your, I mean, just is probably not the right word to use, but in your free time private projects or at work? Part of my day job. Oh yeah, that's cool. I always hoped that it would happen for me as well, but it just, even though there were long plans to migrate to AWS, it just took forever. To actually happen. Cool. There's probably a lot to learn in AWS. At least that's how I feel. I mean, you can do so much with it. You can build probably a million different businesses just with the help of AWS, and with a good legal department, because you always need a good legal department. Failed. That's not so great. Invalid request. To add an alternate domain name to a CloudFront distribution, you must attach a trust certificate that validates your authorization to use the domain name. Ugh. Let's try that one. So, requirements for using alternate domain names. When you add an alternate domain name, the following are requirements. Alternate domain names must be lowercase, yes. And alternate domain names must be covered by a valid SSL certificate. That we don't have, I fear. I'm getting the urge to just host in Virginia, but that won't help us in Europe probably. So we now have to set up ACM, certificate manager, to get a certificate that we actually own our TypeScriptTime.com, which I do. Okay. In that case, I kind of get the feeling all of this will be easier if we actually do it in code instead of doing it manually. That's why I will now start with npm install. And then we want probably at AWS CDK / AWS Route 53. Where is it? Where are you, my friend? Is it this one? Yes. Like so. And then we import our hosted zone that we have, which is public. And start doing stuff. Can I have an existing? I hope this one, yeah, this one should work, I guess. We are in the web stack. That's where we want to go right now, at least. We might need to move this guy again. For now, it should be fine. So we have TypeScriptTime.com. TypeScriptTime.com. We just call it hosted zone. And now we have it. Const domain equals this one. Now we can use, probably can use, first of all, domain dot hosted zone name. Is it the zone name? Ah, no, wait. We want to have the following first. Domain dot, how do they do it? Hosted zone, here. A new Route 53 dot, we have a CNAME record, which is in this scope, and we call it the CNAME or CNAME. And then we have some configuration, which is the domain name. Is the zone name actually the name of the domain? Yeah, perfect. Maybe I pull this one out as a variable. Okay, maybe not. Domain dot, what is FQDN? Where is this URL? Fully qualified domain name. is that portion of an Internet Uniform Resource Locator that fully identifies the server program. So it is with no. they they hit the relevant part. Can we see that, please? I don't know. I want to see this in large. Why can I see it not in large? Maybe another side. Da -da -da -da. Yep. See you in a minute. Let's just go FQDN. So 2 things that I want to do here first is one, since we're learning, we want DevOps DNS FQDN fully abbreviation, and then we do BAMS FQDN host name and domain name. Do they have an example? Is the complete domain for a specific computer or host on the internet. The FQDN consists of 2 parts, the host name and the domain name. The FQDN for a hypothetical mail server might be mymail.somecollege.edu. The host name is mymail. The host is located with the domain. Do we not have something like domain in here? Domain dot env cross account zone ARN. No. Hosted zone name servers. No, it is also not relevant. Zone name is a string. The hosted zone in which to define the new record. No, wait, what type is this? I hosted zone. Then probably it's just domain. And here, I think that's about it. And then what else do we need? Record name, TTL, let's say duration dot minutes 1. Yep. And then we have our CNAME record. Now, AWS CDK AWS Certificate Manager, ACM. There we go. AWS Certificate Manager handles the complexity of creating, storing, and renewing public and private SSL certificates and keys that protect your AWS website and applications. Wait. We need a www here. I think so I think we need to provide something else here. The record name, there we go. Which is www. Default zone root. Yeah. Sounds good. Sounds correct. And www is what we write right here. And the rest is given by our friend hosted zone. So this might be it for now. Now we have to find a certificate. Maybe we run it first. Let me remove this friend here. Hopefully we don't delete all the other records. Yes, delete it. So let me save these again. And let's run deploy for once. So it creates a few resources. And then we should be able to see a new record right here. That's what we want. And hopefully the others are still there. And then we need to get started with AWS Certificate Manager. Which we can definitely already install because we definitely need it. And then we do some more stuff. npm I, that's what I need. So the install is done. The CloudFormation is still working. CloudFormation, okay. After requesting a certificate, you will need to prove that you own the domain in question before the certificate will be granted. Okay, that's important. So we need to probably check our emails at some point. The CloudFormation deployment will wait until this verification process has been completed. Cover this wait time when using manual validation methods. It's better to provision your certificates either in a separate stack from your main services, or provision them manually and import them into your CDK application. There's a limit on total number of ACM certificates that can be requested on an account and region within a year. The limit is 2,000. But it may be much lower on newer accounts, which we have. We do have a relatively new accounts. But as of then, it's essentially just this. I hope this one is right. How do we see the FQDN for the hosted zone? Oh, now we have two. Oh. 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 Interesting. So you can have multiple hosted zones for the same entry. That's interesting. And we actually see... Why are there two for the same thing? And I think they are actually identical. Or maybe not. Maybe I should check this one. Oh no, they have different... No, the number's the same. The serial number is definitely the same. But I think this guy here is different. Yeah. Interestingly, this guy is different. Oh no, we route traffic to TypeScript-ttime.com. That's not what we wanted. I think that's the value, huh? TypeScript-ttime is this guy. Yeah, we probably want this to be here. And we move all of this to the bottom. And then we say in the domain name, we take distribution dot distribution domain name. Aha. And that should do it. Now this value should be changed. And hopefully it doesn't create another hosted zone. Or we might have been able to import it. No, this takes another while. Okay, in the meantime, let's get started with the certificate, which looks like this. So if Route 53 is your DNS, then the DNS record can be created automatically. Oh, seriously? Okay. So instead of doing this, we just need to do this, and we can remove actually the CNAME record again. Meh. 4 of 3. Something's wrong with that one. In that case, we want dot domain dot zone name, and we need to take ACM from up here, import it, Amazon, and then we give it the domain, and it does the rest automatically. Wait, did I miss something? We need to set So this one will create a domain name. Oh, I think I messed up. We do want the CNAME record anyway. Don't we? Or can we say that with this guy here? Those two are deprecated, so we don't use them. Subject alternative names. So I feel more or alias to CloudFront. I actually feel more comfortable doing this halfway manually, to be honest, because we at least understand what's going on. The domain name of the record. I think we can just do this. We need to import this again, and then we have it. So we created the hosted zone, which I call the domain. We then create the CNAME record, which I call the alias to CloudFront. And then we say, okay, we create a certificate for www.typescripttime.com. And now we also need to have the domain name right here, which is one point where we see that descriptive can be easier than non-descriptive. So what I'm just going to hard code here is ttime.com. Wait, the domain name? No. Record name? I think it's a record name. No, the record name is just a www brand. So this is alias to CloudFront dot. Oh Jesus. www dot TypeScript ttime. Domain dot zone name. Why can I not get this record name? Dot. Okay, let's check again how it looks currently. So we have our zone here. We have a redirect to CloudFront, which is correct. We have the correct record name. So we can use it like so. So Oops. So dot zone name is what we want to certify. So we don't need that one. And then we have it. And up here, we kind of have this commands domain name equals TypeScript ttime.com. and record name events. Oh, no need for the quotes here. Looks good. Can give a comment. Created with CDK. Do we have a comment here as well? No, we don't. Okay, let's try it. What could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? And yeah, while we look at this, I'll be back in a minute. And we're back. And we have properly checked our audio. Perfect. Okay, this didn't work. Why? Why, oh why? Oh. Okay, so now we're running in the same error that we're not allowed to do this. The problem is wait, can we do this for a second? Let's just deploy it without the separate domain names. And then we verify. And then we add the domain name. Which of course means we need to access it from. Yes, the problem is that it's because it's cloud formation, it should be alright, right? Even if we no, I know what kind of problem I'm having here is because now, so one of the great things about things like Terraform and so on is that and also CloudFront, is that it's descriptive, meaning it takes care of the order for you, what to deploy first and stuff. But here we kind of have an annoying thing where we want to have this certificate. we want to have the distribution, and they kind of depend on each other. No, actually, they don't depend on each other. No, only the CNAME record depends on the distribution. The CNAME record depends on the distribution, so this one must come after, and the distribution depends on the certificate. And the certificate can be provided even without having the CNAME record, right? It doesn't really care about whether we have one little record, or maybe it does. Damn it. Let's hope it doesn't really care about that we have one little line in our record table. I hope it only checks the top level. Sorry, top level as well as the actual domain. So I hope it only checks TypeScript T time, because I have at least never heard of subdomains that are split. So you have control over the TypeScript T time, but you don't have control over www.typescript T time. I don't think that's a thing. Is it? Because if it's not a thing, we can just verify with the help of TypeScriptTtime.com. And we still know that www is under the control of us. So the certificate validation works. And then we start with the distribution and put in the certificate. And finally set our CNAME to the distribution. And then everything is good. Let's see. But we kind of have to wait now for the update, because I don't want to do that. It might actually just wait for me now. Give me just a second to go to my mail here. That's not it. That's also not it. So far, I don't have an email, as far as I can tell. Yeah, so far I don't have an email. Which is interesting. Do we see inside of CloudFormation, CFN? Yeah, so you're definitely right that we need to attach the certificate to, not in North Virginia. We are in, I think, Ireland. Update in progress. Is it really just waiting, or is it still doing something, or is it waiting for me? Oh, it's actually creating the CNAME. But it has a terrible value. What are we supposed to do about that? And how do I actually... Can I provide anything here? Where's my certificate? Here. Go inside of there, please. There. To register alternative domain names that represent the same site. That's probably not it, right? Because then we have a cyclic dependency. Like, in general. Distribution depends on the certificate. Certificate depends on whom? On the distribution URL. And then nothing happens in the end. I'll check my email once more. It doesn't seem to continue. Nothing there. Why not? We can just do it manually, huh? Records must be added manually. The stack will not complete creating until the records are added. Oh. Oh, my bad. Never mind. The name is whatever. Very long string. .www.typescript.com. So it's not registering something for www.typescript.com. Then, which means we should be fine. It just takes forever for whatever reason. If we go to Certificate Manager and we say, oh, hello, pending validation. Further action is needed to approve. Learn more. Where did it open? There we go. DNS validation. How they work. Set up DNS validation on the console. Validate with Route 53. That's what we did, didn't we? You have permission to write to the zone hosted by Route 53. Wait. On the validation page, complete one of the following two procedures. Validate with Route 53. On the validation page, click the down arrow next to your domain name. An active create record button. Pending validation. There's tags. Request a certificate. Here we go. Aha. That's they could have done this at least slightly more obvious. I mean, how many? I needed to open two things here. And it's like, okay, of course you have to click this very little button. Because nowhere else you can click. Except here. At the following CNAME record to the DNS. Yes, do it. Great. Success. It was written. It can take 30 minutes or longer. No! Be quicker. We don't have that much time here on stream. Please, AWS. Be at least slightly quicker. Okay, so we have that one. And now it just waits. Damn it. Now what do we do? Now what do we do? In the meantime. So I think this is now okay-ish from a perspective of order. Thanks for your help, Jay. Very, very much appreciated. And now the only issue is that, well, this can take up to 30 minutes. I mean, it did create it, right? We go to Route 53. We should now see somewhere in here in our hosted zones that created with CDK. There it is. We have a new CNAME, which is very long, but which does what we want. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So now we just need to convince CloudFront to continue Cloudflare. No, Cloud Formation. Jesus. Why are they called all the same? To continue with our updates. Can you maybe continue? That would be amazing. Huh. Yeah, it's only the certificate that it's waiting for. Jay, tell me a story. What projects are you working on in maybe in private, something interesting? Maybe also with AWS or maybe another technology? So if it seems like I'm just asking out of politeness, that's not true. Actually, I always want to have these kind of conversations, but the problem is due to the, I don't know, it's like 5 seconds until I actually see your answer. Oh, sorry, until you actually get my comments, my answers. And then you write something, which again takes 10 seconds. And this kind of halfway asynchronous communication is not very effective. As well as concentrating on coding while actually having talks with the chat is not that easy, I find. Unfortunately. Because I do want to have those conversations. It always amazes me how great the people are on Twitch that actually talk here. Maybe it's also just a kind of a bias, because the people that know stuff, of course, just answer most of the time. But nevertheless, one reason why I'm actually started streaming is to show that, well, even as a professional, you fiddle around, you look at Stack Overflow, things don't work, you ask other people and need some help, discuss with your teammates, make some progress, and then start from the beginning. And sometimes even you have to scrap a whole project and so on. And that's very natural in programming, because a lot of people have this imposter syndrome, right? Even though they are incredible engineers or product managers and so on. It's always sad to see just because they're surrounded by great people and don't see them struggling enough to then start thinking that, well, I'm the one that's not good enough. That's very sad, I think. And yeah, this whole Twitch thing is very nice in the sense of, if you see the streamer actually struggling and not knowing what they are doing and fiddling around and trying to understand, I find that very motivating. I mean, there are even a lot of people from Microsoft and AWS themselves. Although I actually don't know anyone from AWS who's streaming. If you know one, I would be interested. Besides the official AWS channel, which is interesting, but unfortunately they kind of have everything prepared most of the time, and things don't go wrong, or they go wrong too little, let's say, because things always go wrong to a degree, and that's always nice to see. Come on, CloudFront, CloudFormation. Come on. So if we have this set up, we can actually add one more service here, which is certificate manager. Do we have one that kind of fits into the style? AWS. Suppose this one. That's certificate manager. Also an AWS service, which we interact with, and we have kind of these arrows. Now let me just understand which directions they actually go. Certificate manager validates with the help of Route 53. So actually one arrow is in the other direction. I suppose. But Route 53 actually uses... No, it doesn't use the certificate, right? So the arrow is just like so, I think. Yep, kind of like this. And then CloudFront gets the arrow is in both directions, huh? Because yeah, probably the arrow is in both directions. We can do that, I think, with this one. Just find the right arrow. I think this guy. There we have arrows in both directions. And then CloudFront uses the certificate manager stuff with Amazon. So we have one more service inside of here, because there weren't enough things in it already. It's not continuing. So sorry about that. We did get to a great point, I think. And as soon as this is now done, I at least hope that this part here is actually finished. So all of this. What is not finished is the API gateway. And ideally, I would also try to have an API gateway, AWS API gateway custom domain. Can start looking into that one as long as this is still running. Setting up custom domains for REST APIs. Oh, that sounds good. So let's maybe make a quick guess. We probably still need the certificate manager again for the new route. But other than that, we can maybe just have a CNAME with API, for example, api.typescript.com, which then goes to the API gateway. And the post still goes to the API gateway, although it, of course, uses Route 53 to have the correct, to have a nicer URL instead of essentially leaking the information. Kind of another abstraction layer, because this guy only then depends on the URL, which we control, as well as the route name. And we abstract the client away from depending on a direct API gateway domain, which is nice. So even if we change the API gateway for whatever reason, then we could just change the target of the CNAME, and then it routes with the same. So without changing the client, we could just change a configuration inside of Route 53, and it would go to a completely different API gateway, as long as, of course, the resources behind it, which is the schedule, that did not change. So that's one good thing. So let's try to understand how that works. So custom domain names are simpler and more intuitive URLs that you can provide to your API users. Let me just do one quick thing here. Verify that we actually... Wait, why is this pending validation? We did click the button, didn't we? I'm very sure we did. I am very, very sure we did. Here. Click that button. Is there another step? It may still show pending validation for up to 30 minutes. Okay. So we cannot, let's say we cannot automate that the record is added, but we can automate. So we cannot add, say ACM should do it automatically, but we can make an automated API call ourselves to Route 53 to add the DNS. That's okay. But there is at least some manual step probably involved. We did create that, right? Let me just double check here. I am getting paranoid. We need to go to Route 53. Go there. Say hello, hello, and then go to the hosted names, and then the one which is created there, and then we have, okay, we have this one here, ACM validations. Yep. So it's just, we just need to wait some more. annoying, but not much we can do about. Apparently 30 minutes. When did we do it? Clear, whatever. Okay, let's look at the API gateway then. So after deploying your API, you and your customer can invoke the API using the following default base URL. Yeah, exactly. That's the ugly one. And in particular, it does not abstract away the fact that we use AWS or that we use API gateway for that matter. So not very user-friendly indeed. What we want to use is something like this: api.example.com/myservice. Yep. That's perfect. And that's exactly what we want to do. So if you don't set any base mapping under a custom domain name, the resulting API's base URL is the same as the custom domain. Okay. In this case, the custom domain name can support more than one API. The custom name can be associated with REST and HTTP. Hello, Karim. Good to see you. Welcome back in. We're looking at Route 53, and we kind of have some fun with certificates. Have you used Route 53 before? It's domain name service from AWS. And so maybe I can give you a short introduction to what we are currently doing. So we have this nice little website here, hosted on CloudFront already. It's beautiful, isn't it? So I had because I want to go to Japan back at some point. I actually looked at the embassy's website, one specific page, pretty much every day. And they have like a less changes. I don't know. For example, the last one were 28th of June 2021. So what I wanted to do, and of course there are actually services for that, but I thought, since I'm aiming for the solutions architect associate certificate currently, because there's a challenge that you get 50% off, let's actually architect something to do that. So what you basically do is you type here, for example, https:// Japanese embassy Germany. What is it? JP probably. Embassy.jp, let's say. I type my email address, for example, TypeScript teatime@gmail.com. And then a phrase, in this case, it was like last update 28/06/2021. And then alert me. And what it now does, it goes into the backend, and there's a function. So it then starts scheduling, like I think once a day, accessing this website and just trying to find this watch phrase. And if it's still there, everything is fine. Nothing that the website will do. But if it's gone, which means there was an update, it automatically sends an email with me, to me, or to this email. And this is at all not over-engineered what we are doing. Actually, it's not absolutely over-engineered, but somewhat over-engineered. Because for my little use case, it can actually scale up to 1 million or 10 million users, no problem, because we use all of the AWS stuff. So this website that you see here is actually on the top. We have it hosted in an S3 bucket, and it's distributed over the AWS Cloud Development, Content Delivery Network CloudFront. And what we're currently actually aiming to do is configure a custom domain for it, TypeScriptTime.com, for our little website. For that, we had to actually fiddle around with also the certificate manager, because CloudFront acts on HTTPS and we cannot kind of downgrade. So we have to have a proper certificate for this one to connect it to CloudFront, and then we can get our website. That's the front end part, as well as here's the actual website. Oh, my bad. And then there's the backend side, which runs completely on Lambda, as well as Event Bridge, which is an event bus and a simple notification service to send the emails. So that's what I did for practice. And currently we sit at this stage where we were able to get the TypeScript-Time domain here. TypeScriptTime.com is now in our hands. And we are currently trying to add this certificate to us. Be aware, I will probably delete everything with the certificates as well, again, because I don't know whether anything of this is private. Probably not, right? Because the private key which it uses to sign is still a secret, so nobody can understand. Or what if we actually go to this page here? Let's not do it. At least let's not do it until it has actually finished the process. Yeah. The unfortunate truth, however, is that there's one manual step involved here in Certificate Manager to verify that we are actually human and stuff. And it can take up to 30 minutes after you have done this validation for it to actually grab everything, and then everything works. Yeah, working. Okay. Was that okay as an introduction? The short version is website monitoring, and we try to configure Route 53. And now, while we wait for this to run through, we actually use AWS Cloud Development Kit, CDK, to do everything with it, except for this one manual step, let's say, as well as registration of the domain is also contains a manual step. So I actually did that beforehand, but I did show how to register a domain. It will not be in the video on demand though. That part, because I was stupid and had my audio apparently off for whatever reason. If one of you streams and knows about a plugin to notify me, so OBS plugin to notify me when my mic is muted, then I would greatly appreciate that. But I also greatly appreciate that you have that you're spending time with me again. Thank you so much. This one takes a while. So CloudFormation is currently doing the update, but it's actually waiting until the validation has completed here, create in progress. So it did create this validation entry, but the validation can take up to 30 minutes. What we can do in the meantime is look at how we configure Route 53 to also give us a nice API gateway. Because if I do this right now, currently it probably doesn't even have the right API gateway. I think I don't even have the. Do I have the API deployed on this account? Let me see. Lambda. Apparently that's just the Lambda function that empties the bucket if I remove everything. So if you have an S3 bucket, you cannot remove it with CloudFront, because at least as long as there are objects inside, which most of the time are. So what we have, thanks to AWS CDK, we don't need to do that manually. We just say removal policy destroy, and then it has a kind of workaround to destroy all the objects first and then destroy the bucket. And this workaround is a Lambda function, which essentially removes all the objects and then removes itself, and then finally the bucket can be removed, so I don't have any leftovers. What this means, all of this stuff is not deployed in our current setup. I can show this fairly quickly, just as an overview. Oops, my bad. So simple notification service is up here. So we deploy it. They call it topic. You can think of them like channels, where you push messages inside, and then they get listened to by someone or something, or they get spread out to someone or something. That's what we first create. I think the actual listener is dynamic. That's why we don't have that inside of the CDK stack, but inside of the Lambda function. We deploy one of the Node.js functions, the Lambda functions, which is this one, the one that actually checks the website. So it goes to the website and decides then, okay, the watch phrase is still there, do nothing. Or, oh no, the watch phrase is gone, which means the website has actually updated, send an email. And this arrow is actually not there. Let's remove it for now. So we can just say, yep. That's the monitor. We use one higher level construct here, which is AWS Lambda Node.js, which in particular, it bundles all of our stuff. For example, if we, let me deploy first in the meantime. Why CDK list first of all. So I have the name. I can't remember. This one. Why CDK deploy this nice little stack. Then I just have to say yes. There was the actual packaging, and you see it's fairly small, even though we include some Node.js stuff. Sorry, Node modules. And then I have to confirm all of this. I checked all the, so these are all the relevant permission changes. And then we say yes, and now it creates everything. Yeah, so we deploy a Node.js 14 function here, We minify it actually also because we can. We could, for example, also put in source maps if we wanted to, but I decided not to. It is actually TypeScript, and it automatically, I would also always, in this case, I would probably say automatically, this this guy here does everything for us using ES build under the hood, as well as setting some environment variables. And because the monitor actually accesses, or so it pushes events to SNS, it also has to have the proper permissions, which we say with grant publish, I think. Yeah. So it's the email on web page changed topic, and then we grant publish rights to the monitoring function. On the other end, so this would already be fine to just have manual map site monitoring, but we of course want to do it on a schedule. That's why we add these two functions. One is again a lambda function, which pretty much does the same, as well as gets a lot of permissions probably. Yeah, here we add a lot of permissions so it can access everything. Because the scheduler function is definitely not trivial. It has to create dynamically, and that's the important part. It has to dynamically create event bridge objects called rules and grant the rights to those rules to invoke this lambda function. All of that dynamically, as well as the subscribers, which depend, of course, on the email, and the email is again a dynamic parameter. So this lambda function is definitely powerful. If you want to hack something, this is the place. This is it. Please don't hack me. I sure hope I did most of the stuff correct and tried to minimize the rights, but you never know. Yeah, probably you can in this case somehow, because this function can create any rules on here. You might be able to use that somehow. Yeah, you might be. Yeah, and then the event bridge, event bus, which is apparently even unused, so I probably don't use that. Every AWS account actually has, with the security, you mean? See, oh, okay. Yeah, we are here to learn. I mean, I'm here to learn as well. All of this is again for this solutions architect. If you're interested in getting certified, I'm not getting paid by AWS, by the way. I do want to get paid because I do AWS stuff at some point. There's currently a, where is that? Is it this one? There's currently a challenge. Yeah, here we go. So you can, and I kind of participate in the challenge. Originally, my plan was just to get the first certification, this one, but that's surprisingly okay-ish. Now I'm aiming for this one because, well, this one costs $100. This one would usually cost 150. The second level, I think these are even more expensive. But now you get them for half price, $75 with the challenge. As well as they have some pretty nice, I think, very entertaining Twitch streams as well, where they go through some questions and explain why one answer is better than the other. Okay, enough. Yeah, probably enough advertisement for AWS now. We can maybe look at our other stack. No, it's not yet finished, but this one is finished actually. So it now created our stack. So it created all of this fun stuff here. And we can start looking at it inside of our, where is my AWS anything? Here. Reload. Good luck. Thank you. There we go. Wait, is it this one? 7 minutes ago already. Okay. You need to go to the functions. Here we go. Let's see. We have web stack. We want not the web stack. We just want the monitor stack. Okay, monitor stack. There we go. We have the scheduler function and the monitor function. And if I go inside of here now, you can actually look at the code, which looks kind of cryptic. But at the beginning, it was still okay-ish readable. Now it's not readable anymore. We can maybe just look at the actual code. So it's a lambda function, which means it takes some event. And in our case, the event has a very specific form, namely this. And then we can just do the thing. I mean, what do? You fetch the website, check whether the specific watch phrase which you get via the event is inside of the website. Get also the URL, of course, to get the website. And then if it's inside, you send an email with the help of SNS. In fact, you only actually just say, okay, push an event to SNS. And SNS then already has a consumer defined at the other side of the pipeline, essentially. Yeah, so this one code here gets including all of the fun stuff up here, like for example, node fetch is packaged. This one is not packaged because I use type, so it gets filtered out at runtime, at compile time. But node fetch is definitely one, and URL is just, I think, a standard node thing, so it's already there. And all of that gets packaged in these lines. And if we, can I see the size? It's incredibly small. In particular, if we look at my, I don't have that here in this account. If I look at my serverless functions, they are usually in the frame of 12 megabytes, which is a lot more. So I could create 1,000 of these functions with CDK to just have one functions with serverless, which is kind of a bummer. On the other hand, I do not, so serverless framework is one thing that I use. for an app that I'm developing, for the backend for one app that I'm developing. And while it is much simpler because it abstracts away a lot of stuff on the AWS side, it also is much more bloated, of course. On the other hand, there are plugins that might help me with it. I didn't check those out yet because I'm lazy. So we're still waiting. Are we still waiting? Oh, man, come on. 1 hour has already passed. 1 hour has already passed. Why did it not do the thing? It should do the thing. Let me try to understand that again. Certificate manager. And maybe we just have to do it again. Or did I get an email now? Let me double check. I did not. Nope, no email. No email. What did I want it to do? Ah, here. Check this and then check that and then create this record. And then I say create. So apparently it worked. And then there's nothing else, right? So step 8. On the validation page, validate with route 53. That's what we do. We click the button. Choose create, yes. Choose continue to do the blah blah. To view the certificates list page, where your new certificate might still display pending validation for up to 30 minutes. But it's more than 30 minutes already. Yeah, it's already an hour. That's annoying. So I'm in UTC +2. That's 12:37. Yeah, it's already an hour. Does it make a difference whether I provide the www? But they also do hello dot. So they do it for the sub domain. Validation, blah 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 blah. Email validation. Email validated certificates, the default are validated by receiving an email on one of a number of predefined domains following the instructions in the... Oh, did I get an email on this domain? That would be annoying. Probably not, right? You can have an email, you can have a domain, because so you provide an email address even before you actually get the domain name. Mm-hmm. Exception to this process if we request an ACM certificate for a domain name that begins with www, which we do. ACM removes the leading www and sends email to the administrative address. Oh, so we need. Oh, damn it. We need to get. Wait, what? Seriously? No, wait. We don't. Because we have validation method. We set our validation method with, not you. We have our validation method with certificate validation from DNS because we host it with Route 53. Yeah, we host it with Route 53, and that's why we can use this non-email based validation. It's just slow. Why? Why are you slow? Come on. Don't. Oh, was there something? Domain registrations expert. Oh, that's not it. You. Or is it because we have two entries? That might actually be an issue. I am inclined to just remove it. I mean, I do have a backup, so I can just write it again. So let me, maybe that's the issue because we have twice the same. One originally created by Route 53 automatically. That just happens whenever you create whenever you register a new domain with Route 53 directly. But also one which was automatically created with CDK. And maybe that's what's causing trouble. Because it was instead looking at the other one and not at our friend here. So if we go to certificate manager again, maybe we can click this button once more and hopefully this time it's fine. Let's hope. Let's hope. And then we finally have a domain name. Man. Well, I can't even imagine people who just want to write a blog or something having to do this. Fortunately, there are other servers that make it at least somewhat easier, but not terribly much easier, to be honest. If I'm honest. Well. Yeah, it appears we just have to wait some more. In the meantime, any questions from your side? Any comments or things that you've been working on, or your wins of the week maybe, or I don't know, how's the weather? We have some time to spend after all. One more thing that I want to do is actually get So I will check the. You have a question not related to this. Yeah. What is it? How can I help? Yeah, I think this is the next thing that we might want to look at to get this error running. And then essentially change this one to use Route 53 and then go to that backend. By the way, I think our index.html has the wrong URL. Yes, it has. What's our URL currently? This one. Oh no, that's not the backend. I have to React apps. So Karim says, I have two React apps. The main one is example.com. The other one is on dashboard.example.com. I want to serve the dashboard on example.com/dashboard. I'm using K8s, Kubernetes. And yes, I pronounce it as K8s. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. 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 So the yeah, what's the question? Let's start there. I can imagine what the question is, but let's try to formulate it. My dashboard static files are served from /static instead of /dashboard/static. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I start reading this one. So this is about how to set up custom domains for REST APIs with the help of API Gateway or on API Gateway. So register a domain name. We already did that. The zone apex is also one more flashcard that I want to create, by the way. DevOps DNS zone apex, the root domain. For example, example.com. Ingress didn't help with that. You have an idea what might be the problem? Let's see let me think. One thing that I can imagine. So does the you have two React apps. One at example. Maybe I can just move the chat here for a second, so that everybody can see. I mean, you also see it on the top right, right? Well, here. Can I dock this one out? I cannot. Slow mode, pop out chat. Thank you. So can we make this larger as well? Yes. Two React apps. My bad. Two React apps. So one is example.com and one is dashboard.example.com. And you also have static files hosted at dashboard/static. And what you want is to have so you have React here, and currently you have React here, but what you actually want is you want to have React here. Did I get that correctly? You can see. Main one at example.com, the other one at dashboard. I want to serve the dashboard on /dashboard. Everything is using Kubernetes. My dashboard, each app. So you also have this one. Okay. So that one already works, but you don't want it. You don't want it that way, but you want it example.com/static instead of example.com/. So do you already have this one? I want to serve from there. They are already served from example.com/static. Both. Can I pop it in again? Show chat. Yep. No, the chat is gone. Where's my chat? There it is. Okay. Everything's fine. So what is blocking you from using this one? The thing is, Nginx does this thing as it should regarding the redirect, but the static files are served from example.com for the dashboard. Okay, is there any... What if you have a redirect on this one, which redirects you to example.com/static? What I don't quite understand is how, if you have two React pages, do you have two React pages inside of here? Because that's going to be an issue, won't it? So yeah, my first idea would be to have a redirect. For that one, or kind of or alternatively proxying. Whenever you try to access this one, it should go instead to that one. And that's probably possible with Nginx, I suppose. The React app running on this would then still think, okay, everything is in /static / something something something. For example, index.html, right? So but that's probably too easy. Which meaning I probably looking at your setup, I suppose you've tried proxying to /static. What I don't understand is how you have where you have do you have both React apps in the same static files directory? Because I don't know whether that's possible. And maybe it's easier to just split them. You've tried proxying, yeah. I suppose so. Looking at your setup, I suppose you came up with that idea. Yeah, what I would expect from React doing then is just making requests to example.com /dashboard / something something something. Oh no, /static / index.html. And in reality, it goes to Nginx, which does magic, and it goes to /static / index.html, and then it returns. The issue might be coming from React app. Interesting point. I know there's in create React app there is actually a proxy setting, but I think that's only for development. Create React app package JSON proxy. Yeah, but it's for development apparently. Yeah, you basically just write this one in package JSON, but it's only for dev. That's unfortunate. So we need to do this. Why is Nginx not doing the thing? So what is failing here? Because from the React perspective, CORS should be fine. The path should be fine-ish because it gets rewritten to basically Nginx just removes the / dashboard. So I'm not sure what goes wrong, and yeah, try if we could find out why that part is not working, we might be able to, or you might be able to figure out the rest. Why does this proxying not work? Yeah, that's why you put in the proxy to redirect everything that goes to /dashboard /static to /static. And for React, it still looks like you go to dashboard. I would expect. It's called a proxy. It could be anything, not just Nginx. Or the, so you mean like this? Yeah, yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing how you solve that one. Would be interesting. Our certificate is not continuing here. Come on. Do I have an email? I will check my email once more. If it is not there, we will start with good old friend API gateway, and then we probably will run into the same error again. Or not error, but the same issue that the certificate is just not being validated in time. Let me check my mails just once more. I don't think I received anything. Yeah, I didn't. Oops. Don't show your private email on stream. Yeah, thanks for asking. It's definitely an interesting setup that you have there. And yeah, I'm curious to find out or to hear how you solved it. Yeah, something with proxy. But then the details are in the devil. The devil's in the detail, as I think. Is that in English? Devil's in the detail. That's definitely a German word. Yeah, the devil is in the detail. With an S. Okie dokie. So let's come back here to setting up custom domain names for REST APIs this time. Because we have done it for CloudFront, except for the unfortunate part that it's not validated. We don't need edge optimized. What is edge optimized? We need to put an edge optimized API. API gateway sets up an AWS CloudFront distribution and the DNS record to map the API domain name to the distribution domain name. That's what we did essentially, except that we didn't do it for API gateway. We just did it for www.typescripttime.com. And then they are route to the API gateway through the mapped CloudFront distribution. Do you actually want that? No, I think Route 53 should be able to do everything. Regional custom domain names. When you create a custom domain name for a regional API, yeah, which we have. We only have it deployed in one region. API gateway creates a regional domain name for the API. And you must set a DNS record to map the custom domain name to the regional domain name. Yeah, that's what we expected. So essentially what they say, I think, is we just do exactly the same. So I hope it doesn't. We might run into the same issue. And then we set up a CNAME. So the only difference is this time we do it right here. And I need to find the right place to do it. I think the API gateway is up at the bottom here. Yeah. Here's the API gateway, which is a Lambda REST API. It allows only post because we don't need anything else. And we import Route 53. Where are you, Route 53? There you are. Right. Like so. And then we say new Route 53.cname because that gives us an alias from one domain like www.typescript or api.typescripttime.com to another domain name, which is the domain name of the API gateway. So this is CNAME record, and then we give it some configuration, which is, let me double check here so we don't run into the same errors again. This is distribution domain name. Yeah, so that's API dot domain name is API dot domain name. So that should be fine. Something with some ID dot execute at aws.com or something. And then we said look at Copilot. Yes, exactly. That's what we. No, wait, that's not it. Copilot. Don't confuse me. That's not even a thing. No, CNAME is a thing. Wait, what? Why is domain name undefined? Domain name is definitely defined, right? It is defined. It is defined. Or let's say, if not throw new error, missing domain API gateway domain name. Bams. And then now we can TypeScript. Can you please be nice? Domain name, API gateway domain name, capital D. So dot. Wait, what? Domain name is an Is it an object? It's an object. But why? Okay. Now we need to make TypeScript happy. What just happened? Okay. CNAME is not not actually inside. So that's wrong. The record name is just API, and then it gets added to the zone, or maybe not. I forgot a comma. Zone. Here we go. Which is the domain. And is that it? For the time being, we also want the time to live, because I want to possibly change it a lot. Duration dot time minutes 1. And this sets our record. So the one problem that I have with this is it probably will create another entry in our list pending validation. Why? Weird. I wonder why the validation is not Ineligible. Renew it. Okay, that's fine. I wonder. So if we have that, let's hope it doesn't create another zone. That would be annoying. It should just use this one. Alternatively, we can try route 53 dot existing. No. Import. Route 53 import. Or existing. The worst case, we have to exclude this one and extract it into a different stack. Probably that makes sense anyway. Thinking about it. I am thinking about it. Because so stacks can reference each other. Actually, there is this kind of hidden thing in binary where we put everything together. And if we would say deploy all, then it would just run one after another. And with this, we can, for example, say const backend. This, we could, for example, provide the backend URL here with the help of the backend dot some property. My backend URL. So that's definitely possible. And we might need to do that in order to avoid the duplication of the Route 53 host zone. But let's see for ourselves. Oh, I didn't save. Oh, I didn't do this. Oh. Missing API gateway domain name. That's a bummer. Why are you undefined? So we can definitely, because we can definitely get the value with some auto magic. Can we? Yeah, here for example. So at the end of running the stack, we actually know it. What's going on? We might not know. So CDK works in multiple stages. First, you write the configuration, then you run the TypeScript compiler over it. And I think, yeah, then you run the TypeScript compiler over it. Then you synthesize, which means it creates a standalone CloudFormation template, as well as some packaged stuff. Like when you have your Docker file, it needs to zip something. Docker image, sorry. It needs to zip something and stuff. And finally, it applies so it deploys, which means it applies the CloudFormation template that it has. And in this case, it might be that we fail in the synthesize step, but when we actually have it as when we actually have it as when we actually have it as, let's see, what am I supposed to say? What do I want to say? When we actually have it as CloudFormation, then it actually is available, the domain name. So maybe we need to do the following: API dot add domain name, attach domain name, latest deployment. Methods, metric, and domain name, deployment center, That's not what we need. REST API name, a human name, friendly name. Is that it? Or root? Find the right one. Maybe. Custom domain. AWS CDK. Custom domain API gateway. What is it doing? Custom domains. Here we go. So they tell us everything. Everything we ever wanted to know is right here. To associate an API with a custom domain, use the domain name configuration when you define your API. Oh, we again need the certificate. There we go. We run into the same issue that we have right here with our web application, that it just doesn't want to verify for whatever reason. Oh man. Give me a second here. That's annoying. Okay, query logging, delete zone, test record, edit hosted zones, import zone file. Yeah, so we will run into exactly the same issue as before. Common setup, he says. Common setup, he says. But nevertheless, it can be more complicated than we want it to be. Well, let's try. And if it doesn't work, that's the place where we stop for today. And if it does work, then I'm very happy. Then we at least saw it for one of our friends here. We do need Amazon Certificate Manager. Right there it is. And then we import that one. And then we need our API dot zone name, which is TypeScript teatime.com. Then we want to validate it with DNS. Yes. Which might work, probably won't. And then we provide our API gateway, which, where is it? There. We provide our API gateway, I bet, with exports course with certificate. It's not there. Endpoint configuration, maybe. Are we in the right API gateway? Read me. API gateway. Yes, we are in the right one. We just need to find the right thing. So certificate is not there. We can maybe have endpoint configuration. Types VPC endpoints. No, that's not it. Other than that, we have deploy. Nope. Default, CloudWatch roles, clone from, domain name. Configure custom domain name and map it to this API. Yes, that's one thing that we want, because we want this domain name, const domain name equals this guy. And we say where did it go? There we go. Domain name. And then we usually would have a certificate. Ah, this is an object. Aha, there it is, the certificate, which is just the certificate, and then we have the domain name. And anything else? Usual TLS, authentication configuration, endpoint type, regional, yes, that's correct. And security policy is TLS 1.0 is fine. And then we have it. Wait, did I just delete? There. And then we don't need the CNAME record manually. We, however, we do need this certificate. And it won't work again. It won't work again. Let's try. We also might, we also still don't have the duplication problem solved, I think. Well, let's see. It still was, well, at the very least, we learned that DNS is still not trivial. Even after all this time that the internet exists, 30 years by now, DNS setup is still, at least for me, not trivial. Yep. Not ideal, but yeah. It's always the DNS. Yeah. One thing in one of my previous companies, we had a lot of issues with our DNS that the records could not be resolved. And one thing that I was very surprised to learn yesterday is Route 53 has actually 100%. So once you have the setup done, SLAs. 100% availability, which is surprising. I mean, yeah, that is, I find it surprising. I don't know what, Cloudflare maybe? Do they, I think they also provide DNS, do they? Yeah, there it is. Redundant architecture designed for 100% uptime. But do they put it in their SLA? Because then they need to pay for it if they don't do it. Yeah, they promise that, but practically it's unachievable. Well, they not only promise you can legally claim your rights to do, right? If I understand SLAs to good enough. Cloudflare commits to provide. Oh, Amazon Route 53 did not fail to respond to your DNS queries during a monthly billing cycle. Does that include responses with the word "it didn't work"? SLA exclusions. Oh man, there's always the little imprint. So it makes sense for them to promise that SLA. At least that's how I understand. Ah, sorry, I did miss one. The amount of money you have to pay for broken SLA is not much. Is it? Seriously? I mean, I'm not a legal person, but in Germany, if you cause someone to lose on profit, then you are the person who has to pay for the missed profits. At least that's between people. Business right might be different, but you have the BGB, the civil Bürgerliches Gesetzbuch, the civil law book, the book of civil law or something. And then you have, yeah, it's probably civil, which means if you are a company, you don't fall under that. You basically just get AWS credits from broken SLAs. Well, if it's enough credits, that might be something, but yeah, true. That's, yeah, here it says you only get credits apparently. Yeah. Well. Still something. There's always a catch, right? There's always a catch. Thanks, Jipovirta. Is that Finnish? I can't pronounce it Finnish. Jipovirta. At least I think I pronounced it Finnish. But probably it isn't Finnish. I guess the world is large, right? So now we got to the point where again we have to go to certificate manager and we have to say pending validation. At least now we know what to do. And probably if I go to Route 53, we now have 2 entries. Yes, we do, which is unfortunate. So that's what definitely want to do. Maybe we can import it according to the zone ID. But actually extracting it would be the better thing. Why do we have this validation CNAME inside of here? That's weird. I find that weird. Where's my... okay. I was just in the same window. Yes, it's finished. Sweet! I just the last 2 weeks I was on kind of on vacation, and I read a book about. I mean, it's written from a German person, actually from Berlin, but he was living in since 89 to 2017 in Finland, so that's at least something. He's not at least not a noob, and it was very interesting to hear with apparently. So all of this, blame the book, not me. Blame the book, not me, if anything of this is wrong. With 5 million people, but 2 million saunas, which is every 2.5 people have their own saunas. And thinking about all the children that Finland has. Finland. Children. Amount. Count. How many? How many? 1 million. Seriously? Finland. How many citizens? 5.5. Man, that's a good quota, I think. There's more saunas than cars. Oh, that would be so good if it would be the case in Germany. It's yeah. I'm not even sure if I'm allowed to say that because Finnish people hate Swedish people. But my brother is like the #1 fan of the northern countries, Northern Europe countries. And he's now living in Sweden actually, but also spends at least a month, I think, a year. He's in Finland, and his colleagues, a lot of his colleagues are actually Finnish. Sweet. Nice. Welcome to the stream. Have some tea. I mean, it's maybe too early to say great job and high five. I mean, we did a great job. The only I'm fairly sure that we have the correct setup. The only issue is that for whatever reason, I can't get the certificate validation to work. And that's probably something I will not do on stream because I'm already streaming like 4 hours. Seriously? 3 hours and 34 minutes. Hosted zones. What we maybe can do is we can extract this public host to a separate what's it called? A separate. Maybe even the certificates, huh? Two separate stacks. So what I wanted to do is go to Certificate Manager. Sweet. And click here and click there, and then it doesn't work again. And I say create, and yes, success. DNS record was written to your Route 53 hosted zone. It can take 30 minutes or longer. Oh, I missed that part. For the changes to propagate and for AWS to validate the domain. I thought it was up to 30 minutes. Didn't it say up to 30 minutes at some point here? But maybe that's just me. Yeah. You can read it. It's definitely a benefit to properly read. For the changes to propagate and for AWS to validate the domain and issue the certificate. Okay. It would be great if you did that for us, AWS. That would be just amazing. But other than that, I think we can just stop these at this point. By the way, stopping the CDK does not actually stop anything. I CD'd out of this, but if you look into CloudFormation, Jesus, it's still update in progress. And it will stay in update in progress until something happens. I am actually inclined to say cancel the update, and it will try to do a rollback. And then what? Then we can actually extract our certificate provisioning to a different stack. How does that sound? Cheers. Gotta stay hydrated. So let's do it. By the way, if you want to see more of this, I will stream more on AWS, because I don't know whether you were already on the stream. I'm aiming to do the Solution Architect Associate certification soonish, because they also have a challenge currently, so that you get this for only $75 instead of dollar, not euro, instead of 150. And this one is also 100. You could also just first go for this one and then this one, but you can do them in any order that you want. Although it doesn't make much sense to have this one and then do that one and then that one and then that one. You probably only want these two in the end. But I will stream some more. So if you are interested, you can, of course, like the stream, follow. You have the associate architect as well. Sweet. How much more difficult? Sorry. Thank you. Yeah. Lepoverta is how she pronounces it. She's, by the way, British. I'm using the what's it called? It's actually a Firefox or browser-based API, speech utterance synthesis. What a terrible name! Or speech synthesis utterance. You can use that from the browser, and it's pretty cool. It's a lot of fun to play around with it. There's also a playground somewhere. Oops, that's the wrong playground. There is a playground somewhere. And I think it was actually from Mozilla, but maybe. Well, there are some. And it's a lot of fun. And she's British, but I forgot her name. Let's scroll down here for a second. So one question I was about to ask: how much more difficult is it compared to the cloud practitioner? If you happen to do both. I do know that some questions definitely go a lot more into details, because there's a stream currently running with together with this challenge that they have. They have like Twitch streams. I think I posted the link already once. To get that one. For you, it's not relevant anymore. Although it's still fun to watch, I think. And in particular to be there live. They stream twice a week. I haven't actually done the cloud practitioner certificate. Went for the architect certificate straight away. I see. So you had some experience already with like practical experience with the AWS stuff, I suppose. Did we actually cancel? No, we didn't. I wanted to click this button. Roll back progress and YouTube. And now we create a new stack here. And I'm probably just going to copy and paste the simpler one of both. This one. So that's my domain stack. Then now we call it like that, domain. And we don't need a website. We do want a domain. We do want a certificate. So this is the front end. Web certificate, front end certificate. And then we ignore the rest. And we also pretty much want the same for the back end. Where do I have it? We want, this is not the back end, domain. This one. Scroll. Here. These few lines, we want them to be in here. We don't want to duplicate this one. So this is the backend domain name. Oh, okay. Yes, I had practical experience and checked out the certificate course from A Cloud Guru. Right. I think I did a mock test from A Cloud Guru, which was for free for the cloud practitioner exam. Before the certificate exam, I also did a few practical exams I bought from Udemy. Oh yeah, those were really helpful. Okay, then I'll probably check those out as well on Udemy practice exams. Yeah, practice exams are amazing. When I was in university, just the first thing you do for preparing for an actual test certification was go to the, so we had a student association which collected records, like people, other students took the certificate and then wrote everything down, both for written tests as well as for verbal tests. And they collected all of that and made them available to other people. And that was always the first place I went to, even before starting to study. First of all, just know the broad topics and the style of questions. It's always useful to know. So we have a backend and the front end certificate. We do need the domain name here. Wait, no, what? Yeah, we do need the domain name here. Do we actually want different certificates for the backend and the front end? Can we not like have both certified at the same time? We can, right? Apparently we can just do a wildcard. But wildcards are not really safe, right? Because if anybody is able to capture, I don't know, my insecure subdomain .typescripttime.com, then we are in trouble, right? So is it better to have multiple certificates instead? Because otherwise we could just have one. But it might make a difference for our other services, the API gateway as well as CloudFormation. Maybe not. I'm not sure. Single cert per service makes sense generally. What's the benefit of that? I mean, yes, security is useful. Well, as well as, well, if you can have them. Yeah, why does it actually make, why is that actually useful? In either case, what we can do here, let me just finish. So this is the front end record name. And then the backend domain name is this. We can move this to the top maybe because it's a constant. Oh no, we don't have the domain. Or we do it like this: API backend, and then we just say like so, and then we don't need to have it separate. We can just do this. Yeah, single certificate per service. Does its deployability, does it become quicker? If there are any changes to make, you can definitely make it more separate. Although it's still running on the same top level domain. Sorry, not top level, but the domain, TypeScript-ttime.com, for example. So the same hosted zone, which means something is still shared. Security mainly, if one certificate is exposed, the other is not. That's true. That's absolutely true. Which the client can also truly verify which service it is talking to. That's also true. Yeah. I didn't think about that part. So if you let's go to software as a service world, then, or in our case, we might be talking if it's a complete certificate, for example, for the whole AWS network. We don't know whether we're talking to CloudFront. We wouldn't know whether we talk to S3 and so on. And if any of those gets exposed, indeed, you're right. Then all of the services will go down while the certificate is being replaced. While if you have it per service, on the one hand, you know exactly, okay, this is really CloudFront, or this is really S3, or this is really the API.TypeScript-ttime on the one hand, but also you know if one is, I'm repeating myself. Sweet. Thank you. Always nice to understand those, or to ask why. One thing that is greatly misunderappreciated, I think, asking why, because it can be hard. So what we want to do is we want to have a public read-only variable called frontend certificate. And yes, thank you. And maybe Copilot, do you do the thing? Public read-only back and no, Copilot, what's wrong? Copilot, what's wrong? Did you catch a cold or something? And now we can just assign them, and then they are exposed. So this dot front end certificate equals, and so we just need to do this dot. Why do we not use the domain name? Like so. Perfect. Wildcard certificate benefits are mostly realized when there's a lot of dynamically generated subdomains. True. We only have 2 and they are static. You want to share a certificate with teams that have their own services, subdomains. Of course, there's a security aspect to consider, as you mentioned. Yeah, you mentioned it originally. So credits to you. Kudos. So now I think we just need to expose those 2 certificates, and now we of course need to add this one to our bin by doing new this guy, and yes, all of that, and that. We don't need to specifically add the environment. That's done by default. It's I just added it here because we actually access them, and I don't. And it's best practice to actually inside of the stack you should not use process.env because it hides dependencies. So const domain equals this fun stuff. We of course need to import it. Thank you. And now we can add this to the properties. So this is the certificate that we want to provide, and we say this is the backend certificate. And in here we can say the certificate is the front end certificate. And now we go inside of the backend, and we say you need a new property, which is this certificate, which is acm.certificate. And now we need to import this. Not quite. Can you do it for me, Copilot? Import. Nah, not quite. Star as ACM. Nice. No. Certificate manager. Too bad. Now I got high hopes. Having seen what certificate manager can actually do is amazing. I realized something right now, that my face is actually really dark. For whatever reason, I always just have to open the video capture for just a millisecond, so that the filters actually brighten up the picture. So I gotta add that to my to-do list in front of before the stream. To do before stream, open video capture. Man, I learned a lot of things today. By the way, Jepovirta. Probably it's still mispronounced. How did you find the stream? I'm very curious about that, because of course we want to increase our viewership, because it's a lot more fun to play our games together. We're actually working on an SJS app, Twitch chat based turn-based battles, like Final Fantasy style. Do I have actually a picture of that? Maybe I do. That's what we usually do on Wednesday, but as of this week, we actually also do it on Tuesdays. Is it here? No. Did I not post about it? There it is. Here we go. Yeah, kind of like this. So you control one of these persons, one of these adventurers, and then whenever you write !attack into the chat, it actually attacks and rolls a dice currently to determine how much damage you do. But in particular, so we already have a backend as well as a complete database running. So your HP are actually persisted across fights, and you can die permanently. The idea is to add, probably the next thing is, or one of the next thing is health potions, so we can actually get our health back and interact with other viewers and so on. From science and technology, keyword programming. Perfect. Nice, good to know. Yeah, and that's what we usually do on Wednesdays. But as of this week, again, we do Tuesday streams as well. And Sunday is just special today. Because I definitely wanted to check out Route 53 and didn't want to wait until next Tuesday. So the front end, by the way, is Phaser.js. So we have our certificate now here, and we see, oh, this needs a certificate. What do we do? Well, we do certificate props.certificate. Thank you, that didn't work. And then we also need a domain name, which is probably props. Does the certificate have a domain name? ARN? No. Props.domain name. So we also want to add that one, which is just a string. And we need to provide it from here, which is domain name, which is domain.backend domain name, comma. Then we go into this guy again and say, okay, I see. Kind of up here we can say this dot backend domain name equals all of this fun stuff. Oh, backend domain name. And we of course need to create this property, and it can be public read only. Okay, so that's that one settled. And now we have our certificate again here. So you do end certificate, which is acm.certificate. And then we import star as acm from AWS CDK. Yes, that looks okay-ish enough. Certificate manager. Oh, we already have it defined. Perfect. But why? We still have the fun stuff inside of here. We don't need that. We need to redefine this fun stuff. We actually even need the domain, the complete zone. Okay. Props.certificate. And at this point, I actually want to require the properties and not make them optional anymore. And then we also need the domain, which is actually the complete zone object. So we can do this and then say I hosted zone, hopefully. Where is it coming from? Route 53 dot I hosted zone. Oh, this is the zone. Maybe I should call it like that. Props dot zone. Zone. We don't need the question mark there. And now we also don't need all of this fun stuff. We do need, this is the front end to the front end to a domain name. So this is props.domain name. Another property that we need, just a string. And the record name, okay. It is actually let's just provide it here. Record name, it's just a string. So it's actually part of the domain name. So we could instead provide it partially or even split it out, but I don't think it's worth it. So let's just do it like this. And then we say the domain name is domain.frontend domain name. Yes, thank you. The record name is domain.frontend record domain name. Yes, thank you. The zone is just domain. Dot zone. Oh yeah, okay. So we also want public read-only zone, which is the return value of this. Actually, it's a Route 53 hosted zone. Thank you, Copilot. It's amazing. Sometimes you start thinking in one direction, and in the meantime, Copilot already says, okay, maybe what about this one? That's cool. It can also be scary though, in the sense of you might make some mistakes that you wouldn't do otherwise. Domain. I think we need to change this one up into this dot zone simply. And then we're good. So we have the zone, and now we need the front-end domain name and the back-end domain. The front-end domain name, which is this dude. Equals this dot front-end domain name, this dot. And I think we have one more, the record name, which is this guy. So we just do this dot and we say front-end record name, which is dub. Okie dokie. That's it. Now we can list our stacks here again. There's already a construct with name certificate. I think I forgot the These are unique identifiers, the second parameter. So hoisted zone here. This one needs to be renamed into, for example, front-end certificate, and this guy could be named back-end certificate now, but let's call it, could be named certificate now because the name is free now, but let's call it back-end certificate for the sake of consistency. Oh man. Can I consume a cross-reference from stack? Do I just have to deploy it now? Before I can... Probably that won't work. Because the synthesis will fail. Well, that's annoying. Because we added a parent stack, probably. Because we added a parent stack in between, it doesn't like it, to say the least. So what do we do with that? What do we do? What we can do is probably just do this. I think you need to provide the same env. No, the same env is... you might be right. Although it is, in practice, it is the... yeah, in practice for us, it is the same, but it doesn't see it because we provided... CDK doesn't see it because we provided it right here, while the other ones, we don't provide it. So one solution might have just been to add this. And then it might have worked. What just happened? Oh. But it won't see, or will it? Yeah, it will, right? At synthesis time, I think it sees these values, like the actual values, and then it might do something. By the way, I gotta go for some food. Yeah, I will eat as well in a millisecond. As soon as I have, yeah, this is actually a perfect place to stop because the certificates now fail. We are again at the point where a certificate manager is not able to actually deploy these friends of us. And exactly this is where we stop, because here I have to find out how to do the validation. Or if we just have to wait, that would also work for me. I don't have anything against that. Not working is the best work. So thank you so much for joining. It was 4 very interesting hours. We did a bunch of stuff in our architecture here, mostly fiddling around right here in these 4 because everything else is actually already running. We did get stuck at the point where certificate manager actually has to, or we have to, or AWS has to verify that our domain is actually, that the domain is actually our domain, which should have been easy, but still apparently takes some time. But nevertheless, we saw a lot, and I definitely learned a lot. Hope you had some fun as well, because learning is fun. And yeah, with that, I appreciate your time with me and hope to see you next time on Tuesday this time. Tuesday somewhere during the day. And the other one is Wednesday at 18 o'clock. See you around. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Nice Sunday.